This is day 720 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor our current share of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi or more, please contact me directly. Be great, very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Tavem Zayin again, Chav Zayin to Lamed Beis. Okay, so we were talking about Tarodas Chametz, of course, and in the Chav Zayin, the Arukh HaShulchan is going to explain the Ramah, which you quote in the Chav Vav, and now it's stuff which was came in contact with Chametz before Pesach. Rama argues in two aspects of Mitzvah Yosef. On the first halacha, that things which were salty before Pesach, and you weren't careful to clarify that the salt was permissible. Pasuk Rabbeinu Rama Paskins the Yesh Lachmir with Dam Cheshin Ladea Tzvila the Dover Yel Yavish Chozim and Air. Both says you have to be machmir because you have to take into account the opinion that even by a dry substance, it can wake up again when it's also on Pesach. So maybe in the salt there were particles of chametz, and they get awoken again at Pesach. On Pesach, therefore, was accustomed to be stringent, not to eat anything which is sold before Pesach. Where they weren't careful, in the salt, the varmi put chametz to remove any particles of chametz. Best if you rinsed it after salting it 3 times for Pesach, it soon goes away. Even 3 times, it's just as a hitter mitzvah, you can, in order to make sure they did a good job. The Mishnah Berurah says that on the Yom Tov Achron Shel Pesach can be mekel, even if you hadn't checked for the salt for chametz, unless they were soaked in chametz keli, then perhaps you shouldn't be mekel. The Bir Halacha says that even the rinsing can even happen after Chatzos and Pesach, as long as before nightfall. Mishnah Berurah says that the Achrayim say the minhag is to also soak the salted meat a little bit in a river, or in a cold Pesach dikka keli by water which is changed 3 times. The Rabbi wrote that the Olam say that you put it in for 3 hours, but the Yevet, half an hour is enough, and half an hour soaking is better than 3 rinsings. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. As we just saw in the Mishnah Berurah, you're allowed to also use rinse off in a kli chametz, which is cold, doesn't give off then any taste. Which won't cause any. It won't cause the chametz to release its taste into the meat. It won't go. So it won't be maflit its own taste in its walls into the meat. Nevertheless, we use a kli which is not a chametz kli. Sharatzion writes that the Pri Megadim is not sure in terms of herring. Perhaps if you soak them in chametz keli, also even b'di'evet, even they're not ben yomo, obviously because the brine has a major impact. Yeshu, some say, or Arukh says, the dafka basar shein darko lechol b'ladacha. The meat we're talking about is meat which you normally don't eat, don't eat without rinsing. Dog invasion. And so too, dry fish, which you normally would rinse before you eat it. Avogvina b'dogim, but cheese and fish, afilu rotza diach. If you want to rinse them, it's also. Because you might come to eat it without actually rinsing it, because that's the normal dark of eating these things. Mishnah Berurah says, this count, it would be appropriately mako in loskin, whatever they are, because you normally wash it off, and also by herring, which come in barrels, which normally are rinsed off. Now, according to say, nevertheless, they were not. The custom was not to be mako in any type of herring to eat them during Pesach, even by rinsing, except for Yom Achron Shel Pesach. Shasavchak in the place, or it's going to curtail Simchas Yontif. You can be mako in these circumstances. Well, so but the Arukh HaShulchan says "Chen aminak shelo leachol shu maluach." Chen enochlim limans maluchim. They have no salted lemons. So the shame Pesach. You want to salt it for especially Pesach. B'yas milk with checking over the salt. Well, karkil and for kishkas. Ein mo adacha. Ritzin his work. Shem mulayim. Ratichos dakos mode. For very small pieces. And the rinsing is on the outside. Move on. Zel rak chumras ba'alma. Oh, this is just chumras. Yeah, because you don't know there's any chumras there. Yevet ein chashash. There's no concern. Close it. Actually, shumin. But they put garlic in the kishka. There for sure it's also. Because they're cut with a chametz sticker knife. And garlic is considered to be a davar charif, which never is nice in time of gam. Well, asur l'achlom pesach can't even pesach. Mutar shesna achar pesach, but you can leave the garlic and the kishka until after pesach. Zeish b'ashi diu kurna pesach. That which it says that they rinse it for pesach. Di maril b'diavim load chukurna pesach. Maril allowed b'diavim even if you didn't rinse it for pesach. Adir on pesach to rinse them on pesach itself. Mr. Boris Sharatzion says, the rabbi says, something which you don't normally rinse. In B'shas of Chak should not meko. Yaakov seems to hold that you can be meko. Sharatzion says that the minhag not to eat these kishkas with garlic is even on last day of Pesach. That's right. And Mr. Buddha says, even if a knife was very, very clean and was not within 24 hours, it's usher, because once the cuts the garlic, it becomes Nastam Shvach again. Some people allow a hefse merubeh, this mixture, when I guess when the garlic is less than 1/60th of the dish, if this knife was used on the garlic before Pesach, was clean and had not been used in 24 hours. Chavches, that was the first thing in the Ramah. But Chen Cholek al Din Sheni B'Dogim Meluchim. Also, is the second halacha of the Mekaber by herring, Hashun B'Mayim, which is soaked in water. Chometz the Pesach, and Chometz the Kabes on Pesach. Shkos Rabbeinu says it's Sheyesh Lachmir. The Beis says it's appropriate to Machmir. Mashim Mikardina. Mutter sounds like Mikardina is okay. And Shurim Kodim Pesach and Lachmir Klal. And if they were soaked before Pesach, it should be doesn't Machmir at all. Rabbeinu Ramayim so again. One does not hold it. Pasuk b'shuman amuta b'lichometz, and he paskins by liquefied fat and chometz tika keli kodim Pesach us Medina. So that's according to the strict letter of the law. And basically, means time came in ben Yoma. When it comes to Pesach, we don't assume that the keli was not ben Yoma when they put the chometz tika keli when they put in the liquefied fat. But nosi tam gam ken yeshul sim. Besides that, even nosi tam gam, some people ask on Pesach. Chometz lego shishim knei keli. If it's a chometz tika vessel, there isn't 60 in the contents to be about the keli. Chem chol davar shemavashlim, so to anything which cooked with chometz, not be able to use on Pesach. Not be able to do it vaday shlo yisak klibas yoyma. But if you know for sure that when you used the keli before Pesach, it was not used within the past 24 hours before that. Yesh melahati b'diavad, you can be yavid. If it's already, you have that food, you can eat it. Mr. Bura says that only if they cooked it initially for the purpose of Pesach is the mutter when you know that the keli was not ben yomo. If they did not cook it for the purpose of Pesach, it's also, even if the fellow says it's clear to me that the keli hadn't been used within the past 24 hours. Sounds like a big chumrah. Sharatzion says that the Rabbi says that b'makam hefsei merubeh, If it's a great loss, you can rely on the person who says it's clear to me that it hadn't been used within the past 24 hours. Even if it wasn't cooked initially for the purpose of Pesach. Prima Garden says that you should not rely on this. You can rely on this in terms of his credibility to say the keli was not ben yoma. In terms of if he says that no crumbs of chametz got mixed in, you can't rely on the fact that he says after the fact. It's clear to me no crumbs of chametz got mixed in, because it seems that if that was if the issue is crumbs, so then you could strain the fat and get the crumbs out. And I guess you'd be chayav to do so and not rely on something said barley after the fact. Okay, but back to Arukh HaShulchan. Why are we matir if you know the keli was not ben yomo? And again, Arukh HaShulchan sounds like he holds like the opinion that even if it was not initially cooked for the purpose of Pesach, no say time of gam, but the evid ain't lachmir. If it's in terms of no say time of gam, but the evid you don't have to be machmir and aser if it's clear to you that there was it was not ben yomo. Alocha writes that by fat you should aser with the evid unless they were not if they were not careful from crumbs. Other things are mutter with the evid. What the difference is, I guess by oil it's hard. People won't by fat. It's by fat. People don't get it out as well. Whatever. Don't know. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. According to the Ramah, gam bedogim meluchim ashurim b'mayim also by herring, which is soaked in water. Kli chametz meisleis and chametz dik a vessel for 24 hours. Yesh the story time kavush konvushal. Shasa because when it's soaked for 24 hours, it's like it's cooked. The Quran Pesach even was soaked before Pesach. Came in late in Pesach. Some came in b'nei yomon, since we don't hold at least l'chatchila that kelim are considered to be ein b'nei yomon in terms of Pesach. But the Kolim is mano lo nechshav kavush ein rayal as far as who. And the heter that to say it was before the time of Isser and therefore it shouldn't be considered soaked. We don't have any rights to say such a thing. Ach yeshem kavush tam acher latir. We say by soak, another reason you might say, it only comes kavush after 24 hours have elapsed. Then the time has the time pogum, so it tastes no taste. But perhaps to be Pesach, we don't say this concept that after 24 hours it has enough taste, and therefore the soaking shouldn't answer it. Last thing, you don't have to make it. But if you have a confection which has a sharp taste, which is sharp, ein lakel, you can't be lenient. Mishabura says that, yes, perhaps you make up with the eved. And Mishabura says that things which are sharp, even a little bit sharp, you have to be machdir. You can be makel even than that. Mishabura goes and the Shara and say that several achronim say that even a confection which is from a sharp, made of a sharp substance, such as radish, etc., once you fry it in honey, the sharpness it goes away. And perhaps the Taz about so maybe the Taz about a specific case when there's a lot of spices, so then the honey can't negate the sharpness. But normal confections are not sharp. Adam writes that according to our minhag that we cook sharp things in water and then we split out the water and we cook those sharp things again in honey. And so you could say that the water does not sweeten. I guess which means it will still remain charif even though you put in honey afterwards. Or maybe it's only, I guess, the time the water's in there, it still remains charif. It's one of the questions as he says, because in order to say davar charif, the whole thing, or at least most of it has to be davar charif. If you cook it in water, so then evidently it's significant, but it wouldn't be completely davar charif anymore. Okay. Chavtes, you should know. B'vda, you should know. L'chayra, b'davar shebishla b'chli chametz kind of Pesach. It would seem that something you cooked in chametz dik of keli before Pesach. Yesh heter mitam, not bar not. There should be permissibility because it's no same time by no same time. In other words, the chametz gave a taste to the vessel, and the vessel has to give a taste back to the food, and all takes place through the medium of water. Additional total Pesach Yev Shar Latir Midam Zeh. Within Pesach you can be matter for this reason. The time of the not by not mushum nechla shatam. The reason why not by not is mutter is because in the additional step the taste is diminished. Aliyah mashu, but since chametz on Pesach is also a mashu, ain't the heter. The time mashu miyoika, because mashu means even a faint taste is also, even no taste, certainly a faint taste. Before Pesach shouldn't be a problem. Now we got chametz lega klal heter, but he says no. Chametz you don't rely on this heter. There's human side again. He's part the dafka not by not the tera, where you there's no us isser yet. It's like when you have meat, which gives which is not and milk, which are not by not. They don't come in direct contact. There's a step in between, so then it doesn't become basa b'chol. But both are heter. Not by not Yisura doesn't work. As he says, the dafka not by not, but the terem because not by not. The low Yisura not is approved with something sign job. Chametz have a kamo Yisura, but chametz is like an Isser. Chametz akol sham shem chametz lev. It all has in the name of chametz. But on the last day of Yontif, he would not be machmir this way. Mishmur Sharatzim right name. If you know that Keli was ben Yomo, for sure, can't be made of Ima Yontif because that doesn't work. When the Grod sounds like even by Ben Yomo, Shor Matir on the last day. That he's not sure about the school on the last day for public policy reasons, because then people come to regard the last day as not being so severe. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. Okay, Nova Mikli Zel Kli Acheres Yeshudum Din not by not. It fell from the chametz vessel into another vessel, and they cooked the other vessel, so you should say not by not. This is not much only with the speck which came from the first pot. Why? Why should be more than a speck? Those say yeah, even more than a speck, it's not a problem. Says Kasamashu Zelian he took Shman. And we wrote that even a mash's promise in terms of liquefied fat. She should chametz. You should know we're concerned that there are actual crumbs of chametz within it. But with cooked wine, similar things. Afilu, these even if a laka mixed in, mutter, because not mixed in for Pesach and so botel. Im kenes the chiluk yesh ben matlar bay. What is between a little and a lot? Whatever it is, regardless, you don't say not by not when it comes to Pesach. Even every email fell into another pot. It's completely indirect. And latir rak b'mashu. Matir with it was a mashu because it gets half a mashu. But if it gets scratched in the next pot, it's not going to be a problem. That's because the mashu at Pesach atzmokai. The mashu issue is a issue based itself. It's not an issue on Erev Pesach, even up to nightfall. I'm mashkav siman tuflin bay. Sif tesli and not by not. I guess it's going to write about further. Yeah, so the Mishnah Berurah writes. Actually, this is going on. I don't see what I'm doing back there. The Mishnah Berurah writes that if it's known that the keli which you cooked was ben yomo, still from blias chametz, so the Achronim say that the mixture is also because it was cooked before Pesach, because not by not is not enough reason to be matir. Sharatzion says the Prima Kohanim. He's not clear about this. Perhaps he can be relied by the Eved on the Svar of not by not. Anyway, whenever there's 60, let's cook before Yontav, obviously, it's possible you make a Mokam Hefsim Rubet. It's going to be a local road, right? Place for Hefsim Rubet. You can make it even if there's a lot mixed up and there's a 60 correspond to it. Remember, it's not because what got mixed up is a fat or something like that, which might be chametz inside. So even if even if it's in 60, even if it's fat, which evidently was uh, uh, what's the word? Prone is the word. That's the word I was thinking of. But which is prone to gather chametz. Still, you can be makel. And in all these things, you don't. In any case, you don't take into there comes a non-issue. You rely on those who lenient, even if it's not a mokum hefsim ruben. Lamed, because the hadvarim she's borrowed before from all these things explained, we clarified it's clear. The ancient chashash behering shalanu. Our herring is okay. Maynachush, what's the problem? The kalim im chadash we put in new kalim. L'chush bir chametz, and to be concerned about the chametz crumbs. Kemish mokum shnosim asochrim, since the place where the merchants store them. The meos loving chavios in hundreds and thousands of jars of sheet the copy of sochrim. And it's clear that the merchants are meticulous about cleanliness. So there's no chametz there. Never found a piece of chametz in jugs of fish, meluchim of herring. If it happens, it's a total exception to the rules, like 1 out of 1,000. When they salt them in a huge warehouse. With thousands of herring. The chametz is not likely to be there at all. Shemati, when I heard that those say dulaya polim, most of them say beisachilosam. Maybe the workers come in and they're eating sandwiches with chametz. The chametz fell there. Tosu, it's a mistake. Shemefuru shebeisagol because they even come up polim lechol b'shas ma'aseh. In such huge chef, huge factory, processing plant, they don't allow workers just to eat anytime they want. When the time when the time comes to eat, they go to the cafeteria. So they close the warehouse. But if there was an open barrel of herring in the store, that you can't use on Pesach. The sham there been a kel shipo tocha chametz. It's very likely chametz filmed there. But from a whole jug, ain chashash is no concern. Nevertheless, nahagnu la'asos k'di Rabbeinu Ramah. The custom is to do like the Ramah la'dichon shlosh b'amim kol Pesach to rinse the herring 3 times before Pesach. When speak mashkin couldn't have Pesach, if it was not enough in what they prepared before Pesach, b'dichon gam Pesach, you can also rinse on Pesach. Like wrote previously. Cloud herring but Pesach. Those are machmir, not preparing it on Pesach. Ein makom cloud lechumra zu. There's no room for that chumra at all. You should not see according to the way they're processed in our day and age. Because Rabbeinu Ramah b'sifei, the Ramah writes, Yesh machmir l'stapim m'choyim etziyayin. Some people don't use the same wine vinegar, use the same year. Because maybe you put back into the container stuff which is left from the meal. Sometimes there crumbs of bread there. In our place there's Roma where we don't have wine vinegar. I didn't see people stringent about this. We're not about we take a little bit of vinegar for each meal. The inken gam below chashash they're also without the concern that you might pour it back to also because we're afraid he meant in the middle of the meal to take some vinegar. And crumbs of chametz fell on. And you even have to check for chametz there. The times there because people go in to take stuff in the meal. We're talking about a case where the suffix is there for many days. The chametz is saying there's no concern that chametz fell there. Chashash minesh tov lechometz lechizuko. Take the responsibility for this, but it's good for the vinegar in order to strengthen it. Litain b'mishir machal to put the leftover food in it. Come up with kavas, Borussia, like by borscht in Russia. And Chashina said therefore that's our only and specific concern that you might put chametz back in there. This is where wine vinegar is prevalent. Regina Lesos Kane, people do this. Places where wine vinegar is not prevalent. Loragulu, cloud bekach, they're not accustomed to this at all. To put leftover food in the vinegar. Therefore, they were not stringent about this. Back it says, I am going to tam the kosher lasik acher. It's difficult to get other vinegar. And asushape pshitus, but according to us, it works out very simply that um, uh, uh, since winter wine vinegar is scarce by us, so therefore, I'm sorry, that's what the money of Ram says it's because it's difficult to get other vinegar. But according to what the Arukh HaShulchan said, that's since we don't have very much vinegar, we don't experiment with putting in this leftover food, and therefore it's okay. The Shabbat says like Magen Avram, Sharatzian writes that Rabbi Eger was not sure about the heter that wine vinegar is scarce, because maybe you can maybe we'll make. In other words, he's saying like the heter that's scarce is not a reason you're not going to put grums in it. It's a reason we make it like Hefsed Merubah. So Rabbi Eger rejects it. Says just before strain them before Pesach. Buy the vinegar and strain it before Pesach. Lam base. Okas Aviosa wrote, Sheyesh Machin L'Chatchila Shalom Alos Min Yain B'Chometz Yain Toch Shloshim Yom Pesach B'Kli Chometz. So don't put wine and wine vinegar into a chometz like a keli within 30 days of Pesach. L'Toch Shloshim, and it was filled within 30 days of Pesach. Nogim Shlosh Shlosh of Pesach. Vinegar is not the drink of Pesach. But make a lo hefsi. If somebody who's lenient doesn't lose, Koshkem Mokum Sheni Yain B'Chometz Matzah, especially in a place where wine and vinegar are not to be found. If the vessel was cleaned out, then it's only okay. It's just one of those that say the chaymas chazak, the strong vinegar, the bekav bolo polat, which can easily push things to be absorbed in the vessel, remove things from the vessel. Also, that's forbidden. And since it's a davar charif, not by not, it's not a leniency. I feel ain't ben yomo, and even if it has to be 24 hours, no many davar charif, the vinegar goes into the walls and rejuvenates the taste. Those are only stringent when it's ben yomo. The avagav the kaimal and biyardea, even though we all in yardea seems to about the churfe machle sheva, kameir ben yomo. The sharpness of the vinegar can rehabilitate the stuff which is noisy time, can make it noisy time of shvach again. Nevertheless, people that argue, you shouldn't be machir just because of a suspicion. Also, is when it was in contact with the brine, enough time to put it on the fire and it should start boiling, because that's the shear of soaking in brine. But it says that there's no concern whatsoever. Shibur says also by vinegar, no, it's not the amount of time it takes to boil, it's the 24 hours. And then even if 24 hours, and even it's not ben yom, it's also because the sharpness of the vinegar makes it no same tam lishvach.